Welcome back, my friends, to Ration Nerd, where we eat stuff, and we make fun of it, and we check it out, and sometimes we like it, and sometimes we hate it, and sometimes we just booger everything up and make a complete goddamn mess, but that's the channel. So welcome aboard. If you're down with that, I really appreciate you being here and spending some of your time with this goofball who makes videos about a really nerdy hobby, because apparently I've got nothing else better to do with my time. So today we are going to crack into a Norwegian Arctic field ration. I have been waiting a long time to get into this, and I don't really know why I was waiting to get into it. I literally just filmed a 24-hour ration review, but there are 2 hours and 41 minutes of footage that I have to edit. So this is a hurry the hell up and get a video out for Sunday ration review. Sorry I'm not getting that 24-hour sucker out to you, but I just don't have time. Work is crazy, and unfortunately, this is not my full-time job. However, if this was my full-time job, I might wind up like Jabba the Hutt and just be like, do a job on no ration, and you know, it just wouldn't be good. However, fortunately, this isn't my full-time gig. I'm not Jabba the Hutt, and we are going to get into this Arctic field ration. This is menu number 20, lamb MULIGATAWNY. And this has 1,300 calories. This ought to be pretty cool. You know what else would be really cool? If you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. You thought you were getting away without me saying that shit. You were wrong. And you could always talk to me in the chat. That would be absolutely awesome. I don't know, the chicka. I love how I do like the keyboard chicka ting and the enter button, even though the enter button isn't that far up. But anyway, so I got this ration from my good friend, whose name I will, for your convenience, put right up here on the screen. Ka-ching! That guy is really cool. A link to his eBay store is in the description section of this video. If you want to get some cool ass rations at reasonable prices that are inside of the United States, which means customs doesn't get to put its dirty poop stained fingers in your ration, pick through your stuff, take your shit, eat it for lunch, and send you a busted ass ration that you paid way too much money for, you can order from my friend on eBay. Link in the description. And if you're feeling really generous, you could get you some Ration Nerd merchandise. There is definitely a link to that on the page. You can check it out. There's cool hats. This one's kind of neat. It's different than like your average ball cap, but you got to drill down into the accessories section to get you some cooler Ration Nerd merch like this hat or like this Ration Nerd magnet that's chilling out on this Belarusian beef can. Link in the description as well as on the homepage. So without any further ado, because you know me, I love my ados, we're going to get into this Arctic field ration from Norway. I kind of want to open this up not using the peel tab on the side. As you can see, this does have a nice peel tab here. I kind of like to save the ration bags, so I didn't want to go that route, but I guess we're going that route anyway because I already pulled it just a little bit too hard, so fuck it. So let's just crack right into this sucker and see what's on the menu for dinner. And right off the top, we have that lamb MULIGATAWNY, and this is a real field meal brand. This ought to be pretty good. I've had some really great ration items from this particular brand, so this ought to be pretty awesome. And this, for a freeze-dried main, that is quite a bit of freeze-dried food in that package. That is looking pretty cool. If it tastes good, this ought to be pretty epic. I love me some lambs. They're so cute and so tasty, all at the same time, fuzzy little fuckers. Hell yeah. And then, for dinner, we get to rock on with some Colombian instant coffee. That is awesome. I'll take it. Love me some coffee, as you know. Can't live without it. Had it this morning, but I am not going to be upset at all about having some coffee again for dinner. And that's a pretty damn decent ration coffee. There is one problem with Norwegian rations and their coffee. We'll get into that here in a second. Ooh, we have a little disinfectant swab or disinfectant napkin. Very nice, keeping your dirty dick beaters off the food. Then we have a 25-gram bar of beef jerky. Pretty cool. This is beef jerky bar, pepper flavored. Enjoy my power in protein, 52%. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean. And just in case you were wondering, it's gluten free. So if you have, if you're gluten intolerant, you can eat the beef jerky. You might want to stay away from everything else, but the beef jerky is certainly on the menu for you. Then we have a hot chocolate drink. Not too bad. Utz certified. That's kind of weird. I thought Utz was an American thing. I'm not 100% sure. This is Orkla Foods, Norway, which is pretty neat. And oddly enough, this chocolate drink, for being about 34 grams of chocolate drink, states that it only has 57 calories. That's pretty crazy. That is not a very calorically dense hot chocolate mix. You would expect a hot chocolate mix to be absolutely rockin' full of sugar. Unless they're lying, that's only 57 calories worth of hot cocoa. We're definitely going to have to give that some inspection. And we have a package of Nutwalker barbecued peanuts. That is pretty cool. I like me some Nutwalker brand nuts, and them being barbecue is certainly interesting. Then we have your ration spoon, which is maybe a little on the brittle side. I mean, we're not, slinging rocks with this thing or anything. No sharp edges, which is nice. I like the shape. The shaft might be a little thin for my big gorilla paws. You get that? The shaft is a little thin for my, yeah. This is a pretty decent spoon, all things considered. Not nearly as tough and sturdy as a USMRA spoon, but it will certainly work, especially for a single meal. Then we have another real brand item. This is a peach drink, or peach energy drink. That's pretty cool, coming in at 30 grams. And the one cool thing about this is I've had these before. The Ziplocs tend to work a lot better, so it's a lot easier to mix your drink inside of this thing. And it also comes with a fill line, which makes it nice and easy to use. That's a pretty cool ration component. And we also have some spearmint chewing gum, also real brand. And we have a Ziploc bag for, I guess, spare components, or I don't know, just to keep some shit in. Pretty cool. A Ziploc bag is never a bad thing to have. And I know it's just a single meal, but that is everything that's contained in the ration. I am going to get me some nice boiling hot water for that coffee. Oh, what I was going to say was wrong with the coffee? You know what's missing? 2/3 of the fucking trifecta is what's missing. There's no cream and there's no sugar. I know there's going to be some haters out there. Oh, not everybody drinks cream and sugar in their coffee. Well, you're wrong. You should. You need to fix yourself. Fix yourself. Coffee is amazing. It is literally the drink of the gods, and coffee equals life. That's just the way it is. However, there are two companions that should always go with your coffee, that being the cream and the sugar. The cream and the sugar go with the goddamn coffee in whatever amount you want, but that is the holy trifecta. That is the trifecta that makes everything happen, and coffee helps you wake up in the morning. Coffee helps you get shit done. Coffee keeps you awake when you need to be awake. Coffee helps you study. Coffee helps you have better sex. Coffee tastes amazing. Coffee looks amazing. Coffee smells amazing. Coffee is absolutely necessary. And I think my blood type might be coffee positive. So if you don't like the fact that I like cream and sugar in my coffee and think that if you drink your coffee without cream and sugar, you're absolutely wrong, sorry. Just real sorry, because you're wrong. And you need to fix yourself. I am going to get all this nonsense out onto a tray, and I'll be right back. All right. We have everything out on the tray, and the first thing we have to do is get this meal hydrating. I think that is the logical place to start. So let's crack open this lamb mulligatawny. That smells pretty amazing, actually. Smells a lot like curry. I'm not seeing any do not eat packages in there, so let's take a look at that as it's dry. Get a peek at that inside the bag. It looks pretty good to me. I'm not so sure about you guys, but, freeze-dried food never looks all that appetizing. Really just kind of looks like a bunch of croutons in a bag, but that is all right. We are going to get this thing hydrated, and let's see, does this have a fill line on there? Okay, that's excellent. It has a fill line on the outside, so that is pretty much foolproof. All right, let's give that our best shot at filling that up properly the first time. Get that all stirred up inside of the pouch so that can hopefully rehydrate well. It does have rice and meat in there, and those are usually two items that are kind of difficult to get to rehydrate properly, especially if you're an asshat like me and don't put enough water in there. But we're going to give it hell. We're going to go ahead and stir this up, and then we'll shake it like it owes us some money, and then we'll let it sit for a little while to do its thing. That has a really awesome curry smell to it. That's pretty amazing smelling. I wish there was smell-o-vision and you guys could join me in that, but I'm just going to have to describe it to you. It just has a really savory curry smell. That's really all I'm picking up out of it at the moment. But you never know. I've had some freeze-dried meals smell amazing and then completely let me down after they got hydrated, so hopefully this one tastes as good as it smells. Ooh, that's hot. Nice and hot. So we're going to set that off to the side, give that about 10 minutes to do its thing. Meanwhile, we're going to get on that coffee. So what we're going to do, since I'm not a big fan of coffee without cream or sugar, I'm going to mix the coffee up in a very small portion, and I'm going to mix the chocolate up in a relatively small portion, give a taste of both, and then I'm going to combine the two together. So let's check out that Powder Mill Colombian Instant Coffee. And that is a very light brown freeze-dried coffee crystal. It does smell pretty excellent. I'll give them that. Let's see what the taste is like. And we'll check out that hot cocoa beverage. And that stuff is all the way up in the top of the package. Like if I open that tear notch, I'm just going to be pouring it out all over the tray. Trying to get it down past the tear notch so I don't have to make a mess. It's almost if like part of the world is just designed, or at least the parts around me, everything I do, especially sitting at this table, I make a big goddamn mess. I try my best not to, but it's just fate. Like, So you just roll with it. You just make a goddamn mess and you just roll with it. You know, sometimes I get tired of being this messy. Like I tried to get the goddamn powder down inside of the package and it just didn't want to go. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of coffee going on. And we're going to do the rest in the hot cocoa, so that way we can combine the two together and make one big-ass hot drink. Definitely got to clean that spoon off. I don't think that curry is going to make a very good flavor addition to either my coffee or the hot cocoa, so let me get some of that off of there. All right, get these all stirred up and we'll give them a little sip. Check out some Nutwalker barbecued nuts. They look pretty awesome. And that beef jerky stick. A little disturbing the way it came out of the package, in all honesty. That's kind of, that was a little rough. And we definitely need to hydrate this peach energy drink. We're going to do that in the package, then we'll transfer it to the glass. It definitely has a crazy strong artificial peach flavor. When you open that bag, it just kind of wafts out and smacks you in the face. Not in a bad way, in kind of a good way, but this is definitely seen some heat stress. You can see that by the caked up bits on the bottom of the container there. It was definitely hot at some point in its transit over to me. No big deal. This pouch does have a nice gusset on the bottom, although I say it's a nice gusset. I don't think you're standing this up with that tiny little gusset. I mean, maybe a little bit, but the gusset is not nearly large enough for you to actually stand this thing up reliably. I was going to flip that upside down to show you, then I realized I would just pour the drink powder all over the fucking tray like I do everything else. Let's get some water in there before I make a complete mess out of the damn place. All right, let's give that a little shake. That Ziploc is not working so great, or my shake is just like super strong. Yeah, that's not the best. I'll tell you what, we're just going to get it out of here, and if any additional stirring is needed, we'll do that in the glass. And that makes a pretty decent portion of that peach energy drink. So let's start off by getting a little sip of that Colombian coffee. Definitely has a nice smell to it. See, now that's an absolute shame. That is a nice, strong roast coffee, perfectly done. The only thing it's missing is some cream and sugar, and that would be on par with some of the best ration coffee I've ever had. Without cream and sugar, it's kind of hard to tell. That coffee with a little bit of sweetened condensed milk would be completely off the chain. It's a damn shame they don't put any cream and sugar in this ration for your coffee, but we will get over it. So let's switch over to this nice hot chocolate drink. Let's get a little sip of that. That's actually a really nice looking chocolate drink. I don't know why, that just kind of popped in my mind. I was like, that's actually pretty sexy looking. Let's get a little sip of that. Oh shit, that's really good. Oh, that is absolutely excellent. And that chocolate drink, absolutely top notch. Very soft, almost velvety chocolate feel when you're drinking it. Doesn't have any of that weird aftertaste of artificial sweeteners. Doesn't leave a thick, nasty, gummy coating in your mouth. That really just tastes like chocolate and sugar. It's absolutely amazing. Very natural tasting. It's an amazing chocolate drink. Not overpowering, not overly sweet. Nice, smooth, velvety finish on the chocolate flavor. This hot cocoa is absolutely a mood-enhancing drink. This is damn good. And keeping pace with the hydration we have going on, let's check out some of this peach energy drink. That artificial peach smell really just still smacks you in the face as soon as you get your nose anywhere near the glass. However, that is an amazing taste. It's really good. Let me get another sip of that, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, mainly because I want another sip. That has a really excellent light peach flavor. Nice and sweet without being overly crazy like kids' Kool-Aid sweet. That's pretty excellent. It actually made a decent, roughly 14-ounce size portion, which is pretty good for a ration, and it tastes really good. There is maltodextrin in this drink, so if you're sensitive to maltodextrin, you definitely have to be aware. However, the formula that they put the maltodextrin in here, how they arranged all the different chemicals they put in this drink, actually it tastes really good. It doesn't have that crazy sweet maltodextrin flavor. While we're giving that meal a few more minutes to hydrate, let's get a little nibble of some barbecued peanuts. These, I love these. The only thing I don't like about them is they leave the skins on, so the coating is kind of on there very delicately. If you play around with these peanuts too much, the skin flakes right off, takes all your flavoring with it. Take a look at those guys. I'm going to pop them in the face and see what Walker's got to do with some barbecue nuts. Those nuts are actually really good. Nice and sweet, smoky barbecue flavor. As I said, my only gripe with these nuts is that they leave the skin on, and when they do that, it has a tendency to lose a lot of the coating. This ration, though it must have taken some heat stress, it got to me without having the shit kicked out of it, because these have most of the coating still intact on them. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but they're extremely oily peanuts. So I imagine that extra oil is just one more thing that could go rancid faster, but they are pretty damn yummy. I'm going to get one more sip of this hot cocoa before I add that coffee to it. That really is a very good mood drink. Like if you're in a sour mood, if you're really cold, as you would be, this is an Arctic ration, that is definitely going to help lift your spirits. That is an excellent morale booster. Quite frankly, so is the energy drink. If that had cream and sugar, at least for me, that would certainly be a morale booster, but it certainly is possible that the vast majority of Norwegian soldiers just wouldn't put cream and sugar in their coffee, so if this is made for a Norwegian soldier and there's no cream and sugar, I'm sorry, Norway, you're still wrong, but I get it. I completely understand. So let's go ahead and take this really excellent Columbia instant coffee and add it to the hot cocoa and get a little mocha going on. Let's check out that mocha action. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Those two were made for each other. That is absolutely an excellent combination. I kind of lament the fact that I put the coffee in it simply because that hot cocoa is so amazing by itself. That Colombian coffee is definitely strong, really good, robust flavor. Little bit of acidity, which I absolutely love. In that hot cocoa, cuts all the acidity, but you still power through with a really good coffee flavor. That is absolutely excellent. Now that this thing has been sitting there patiently awaiting my attention, let's get this lamb mulligatawny out on the tray. Looks like we have a little bit of soupy action going on. That's completely okay. That's kind of reminded me of that German main I had in that freeze-dried German ration. Let's hope they do way better with this than the Germans did with their chicken and rice stuff. Hey, that is a really big portion. That's excellent. That's about to like spill over into the peanuts. Luckily, I wouldn't care too much, but that's a really awesome portion size. That is certainly going to fill you up. And I would think the fill in the belly of your soldier is a really good idea. And that is an excellent ration component, in my opinion. But let's taste it before I just run off at the mouth like that. That's like getting ready to leap over the borders into a new pocket of the tray. That's all right. I think we'll knock a big dent in it before that happens. So let's see if we can kind of fish around in here. The only thing I can actually see are hunks of lamb, a whole lot of rice in this yellow sauce. I don't see any other vegetables or any noticeable seasoning swimming around in here. I guess there's nothing for it. Let's just get a big old spoonful of rice with some lamb on there. Try not to spill it on ourselves as we hold this up to the camera for you guys. We're definitely going to spill it on ourselves. Check that out. That's a pretty decent looking meal. Oh, hey, that's nice and hot too. Let's get this bite in the face and then we'll see if we like it. Wow, you know, for as good as that smelled and as much curry smell as it had, that's not the greatest. That sauce is pretty plain. It's very savory. It's almost like there's a chicken bouillon base. I know that sounds kind of crazy. There's certainly some curry in here, but it really tastes like rice with a tiniest little bit of curry and a chicken bouillon base. That is absolutely the flavor profile. Very creamy consistency. Either there's short and medium grain rice in here, or in the freeze drying process, most of that rice got snapped up into much smaller pieces. I kind of doubt that. There's very likely two different lengths of rice in here. The lamb is very savory, has a little bit of a chewy texture from the freeze drying process, but that's to be expected. It's not bad at all. The lamb does have a really well seasoned flavor when you get a bite of it. If you're just getting the rice and the sauce, it's very savory, it's very creamy. It hydrated really well in that pouch, so I definitely have to give it that. There was also a lot of heat retention in that pouch that I don't normally get from freeze-dried mains, which is another really great thing. This is still almost hot, considering it sat there for about 10 minutes rehydrating. That's pretty awesome. The seasoning on this lamb in this main is really good. It has a lot of taste similarities with gyro meat here in the United States. When you get a bite of it, along with this rice, it certainly helps to bring a lot more flavor to this dish. You just don't always get a piece of lamb in every bite. So one bite, when you just get rice, it's kind of ho-hum. And then the next bite, when you get a piece of lamb, it's kind of rocking. This is lactose free. So whatever thickener they use to make this sauce is extraordinarily creamy, really good. You know, I talk about things having a greasy mouth feel or something like that. This actually feels really good in the mouth. I know that sounds kind of strange, but it's just soft and definitely extremely savory. And you get a little bit of the chewiness out of the lamb, which is actually kind of welcome, to be fair. The rice hydrated perfectly, which is really rare in a freeze-dried meal. So it's really nice that you have that soft rice and then bits of that chewy lamb in there, especially for the flavor, but also for the texture. You know, it's funny, when you watch what you're doing and actually like go after a piece of lamb instead of just like, you know, like a gorilla sticking your spoon in there and smashing it in your face, it makes it a whole lot more enjoyable. You just have to kind of plan what you're eating when you're eating it. It's in my beard. It's on my shirt. How does this shit even happen? This is absolutely ridiculous. I need to learn how to eat. One thing I did just get, it was already partially chewed up in my mouth, so I didn't spit it out to show you guys, was I got a big onion flake that I didn't realize was in there until I was chewing it up, and that was an excellent burst of flavor. I really wish they would have put more onions in there. If this had as many onion flakes as it did lamb pieces, that would completely cut out any of the boring bites you would get when you just got rice. If you got a piece of onion in there, it would spruce the whole damn thing right up. And even though this ration only has 1,300 calories, this is a really filling main. That is an excellent quality that I really like about this ration. Having a big belly filling main, at least I feel, is really important for a soldier. If you're really hungry, you want to feel like you've eaten. And this main is certainly going to accomplish that, as well as the peanuts are going to make you feel full and keep you from being hungry longer. And that big old beef jerky stick that we haven't even gotten into, those things will certainly stop you from being hungry. And that makes for a happy soldier. And that's always a good idea. I got another onion in that last bite. That was absolutely amazing. So let's check out this beef jerky stick. See if we can give you guys a little cross section of that. Can I break it? Yes, I can. This is a whole lot like a Jack Link here in the US. So let's give this thing a bite and a sniff. See what that's rocking in the beef jerky department. Actually has only the mildest, very, very mildest scent of beef jerky coming off of that thing. And I really pressed it up against my nose. It really doesn't smell like much. Let's taste it and see what it's like. That's actually really good. A little bit on the sweet side, but very, very heavy black pepper in there. That's actually really good. Nice and sweet, chewy. I like this a whole lot more than a Jack Link, just because it has that sweet, salty, pepper, savory thing going on. That's really good. Great addition to this ration. Nice protein boost. And having just a big old meat stick in your ration, even if it is processed like this one, can certainly help pick up morale. Meat is always good. So if you were issued 3 of these in a day, you would have 3,900 calories. I don't think that's enough for a true Arctic experience for a soldier. Maybe they would issue additional rations or additional ration items. These things only weigh just in at the 1 pound mark. So carrying 3 of these is only 3 pounds. That's a lot lighter than an MRE, a lot lighter than most rations to be fair. And considering it's 1,300 calories for under 1 pound of weight is pretty awesome. You know, I have to say, the more I eat of this, the more it actually grows on me. I just really enjoy the flavor. Maybe it's just getting myself acclimated to the flavor profile, but after a while, this has just a little bit of heat that builds up, which is really nice. It's certainly a really filling meal, which is always excellent. This is actually really decent. I'm absolutely enjoying this. Little chewy bits of lamb. And that's the last bite of the lamb. Although I don't have too many more bites in me, because that's a hell of a lot of food, I'm still really sorry to see that go. Really good flavor. One last little chewy bit of lamb in there for me. In the face with that. And this is a I've changed my mind and I'm surprisingly satisfied spoon drop. Well, let's clean up the rest of these sides. You know it won't take long for me to destroy some barbecued peanuts. And we're going to finish off that sweet and peppery jerky. Absolutely amazing. And that peach drink. Absolutely awesome. And right before we get into that gum, let's check out how we're going to clean up our digits. This towelette is nice and moist. That is, kind of like a giant alcohol wipe. Fortunately, it doesn't have that alcohol wipe smell. It is extremely wet. It feels a lot like alcohol though. Like as soon as it hits your skin, it starts to evaporate, which is kind of nice, and it doesn't have that crazy old grandma smell. I actually cleaned up my digis pretty nice. Let's see if it can help me with this mess in my beard. Well, it certainly put in some work helping me with that little mess I made in my beard, but it's not exactly the most pleasant thing to have directly under your nose. It is certainly not bad though. It did the job. It held together. Of course, it's not the strongest thing on the planet, but it's just a hand wipe. It is pretty decent though, and I love the fact that it didn't leave me smelling like old grandma, telling the enemy exactly where I am. Now let's check out that spearmint chewing gum. 2 relatively decent sized pieces in the face. And that gum has a really soft, delicate outer candy coating. It's really easy to chew. Once you take the first bite, the gum just immediately starts to soften up and become regular chewing gum. The flavor, it starts off as like a real soft mint, and you're like, oh, this is going to be really pleasant. And then it just smacks you right in the face with the spearmint flavor, almost like you're like nibbling on some kerosene, like mint flavored kerosene. It's really powerful. That will definitely clean up your stink hole after you eat something like this. Well, guys, that was dinner. I'm actually pretty damn satisfied with this, and I'm going to save the rest for the end because I don't have a whole lot to talk about because this was just a single meal. and I'm so used to running my mouth. Like, my thought engine has barely just turned over and gotten into first gear. Now I'm ending the filming already. This is just craziness. I need more 24-hour rations up in my life. Thank you guys for joining me here on Ration Nerd for this Norwegian Arctic Field Ration menu number 20. You know, this thing coming in at 1,300 calories is a really big contender to the US meal cold weather. This thing is light, calorie dense, really enjoyable with lots of drink options. This is an excellent menu in my opinion, especially for the weight. 1,300 calories at just a pound, and everything in this ration was absolutely enjoyable. Maybe not like super gourmet, or I wasn't like pate excited about anything, but this was actually decent food, really yummy. The drink selection was great, and I'm also full and satisfied, and I don't have that weird like too much maltodextrin feeling where my stomach's kind of like, fuck you buddy. So if I had to choose between a US meal cold weather or putting something like this in my pack, this would certainly be my option. A US milled cold weather would be great if you were storing them by the case, but if you actually had to eat these in the field, I would choose this Arctic Field Ration all day, as long as it was nice and fresh and wasn't expired. But if you like it fresh, you know what you could do for me? You could hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and then, if you're feeling super generous, buy a hat. I mean, talk to me in the chat. It is always great to hear from you guys. And this is that magical time of the ration review where I tell you if you can find something cooler than this Norwegian Arctic Field Ration to put in your face hole, you absolutely know what to do. Eat 'em up.